Good morning to all. Welcome to the Diamond Group of Institutions NEET and CSET online classes. Today's class is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. In that, some previous questions and important questions we have to discuss. In that first one, which of the following has proved helpful in preserving pollen as a fossil? So, fossils are the structures, they are present in active condition for several years. Actually, we are called as a living fossil. Pollen grain we are also called as a living fossil, means up to the many years, as up to the 100 years. These pollen grains are they can survive. These pollen grains are they are present in the form of active condition. Why? Based upon which option? So option A, pollented, cellulosic intine, and oil content, and sporopollenin. So you can take as an option A, pollented. Pollented, it's formed by the tapetum cells. Means of the pollented, it is outer covering of pollen grains. The pollen grains will be covered by the presence of two layers, outer layer as a exine, inner layer as a intine. So both of the exine and intine layer we call as a pollen kit. It's a character of entomophilous flowers. It was developed from the tapetum. So due to the presence of pollen kit, pollen grain it's not considered as a living fossil, because pollen kit means it's contained as both layers of exine and intine, and cellulosic intine. So intine it's made up of by cellulose, exine it's made up of by sporopollenin, and oil content option C. So due to the presence of oil in a pollen grain, these are the pollen grains, or they are not considered as a living fossil. And remain option D. Sporopollenin is a specialized chemical in nature. It was resistant into the water, oil, temperature, and the different types of the alkaloid acids. So this sporopollenin is not degenerated easily. So it can present several years. So that's why sporopollenin it was present in a exine layer. Due to the presence of sporopollenin in exine layer, these pollen grains are we call as a fossils. So due to the presence of sporopollenin, the answer is D.
The next question, double fertilization is, yes, double fertilization is the character of all angiospermic plants. So angiospermic plants all are there to perform the double fertilization. So and this double fertilization is represented as option A, fusion of two male gametes of a pollen tube with two different eggs. See now, pollen grain can form into a pollen tube. That pollen tube can carry two male gametes, and female gamete of having agapulated cells. This is the agapulated cells and the central cell and the podal cells. So fusion of two male gametes of a pollen tube with two different egg cells. Two different egg cells, they are not considered as a double fertilization. And option B, fusion of one male gamete with two polar nuclei. Fusion of one male gamete with two polar nuclei. These are the two polar nuclei. So fusion of the male gamete, one of the male gamete is fused into the two polar nuclei. It's not considered as a double fertilization. It's also a type of the fertilization. Fusion of two male gametes with one egg cell. Fusion of two male gametes with one egg cell also we are not considering as a double fertilization. Then option D they given as a syngamy and triple fusion. So now see here, option B they given as fusion of one male gamete with two polar nuclei. Here the two polar nuclei, one male gamete, three nuclei they are involved. So this is called as a triple fusion, but not all as double fertilization. Then what about the double fertilization says as syngamy and triple fusion. See now, you want to know clearly syngamy. It says as one of the male gamete is fused with the egg cell. Fusion of egg cell with the one male gamete is called as a syngamy, and it can form into a zygote. And Pollen tube can carry the second male gamete. That second male gamete is fused into the polar nuclei. So here, so this is the male gamete and this is fused into the central cell of the polar nuclei. So that is called as a triple fusion because three nuclei are getting involved. So syngamy plus triple fusion will be called as a both double fertilization. So here syngamy, at the time of syngamy, two nuclei is involved. At the time of triple fusion, three nuclei involved. So at the time of the double fertilization, total 5 nuclei will be going to involve, and that involvement of the 5 nuclei, one of the nuclei can fuse into the egg cell and form into a zygote, and other one of the nuclei can fuse into the central cell of polar nuclei. That is called as a triple fusion. So syngamy plus triple fusion we call as a double fertilization. Here the one fertilization, this is called as generative fertilization syngamy, and triple fusion we call as a vegetative fertilization because here next generation will grown to form by the zygote only. So after the formation of the zygote, the embryo is converted into a seed will become as a new individual or new plant. So that's the concept. So double fertilization is represented as a syngamy and triple fusion. Answer is D. And next question, functional metaspore in angiosperm develops into an. So you want to know clearly again, functional metaspore in angiosperms develops into an. So metaspore, it belongs into the female reproductive part, female reproductive system, means males are called as a microspores, females are written as a metaspores. So functional metaspore in angiosperms develops into. So what is the functional metaspore? How it will be going to form? It belongs into the female reproductive structures and a female part. So now we can consider it as a functional metaspore. Metasporangium we are also called as a ovule. So this is the metasporangium. In this of the metasporangium, the metasporangium is entirely filled with the specialized tissue called as a nucellus tissue. From this nucellus tissue, one of the nucellus cell can act as a metaspore mother cell. It's a diploid. So now this is the metaspore mother cell. That metaspore mother cell, this is the MMC cell, can undergoing as a meiotic division, meiosis. They can form into 4 metaspore cells. If the meiosis takes place means 4 haplontic cells are then formed. So these are the 4 haplontic cells. We call as a metaspore tetrad. And these are the metaspore tetrad. They are arranged in a linear structure. After the metaspore tetrad formation, in a angiospermic plants, out of the 4 metaspores are present in the form of haploid condition. 3 are degenerate. Out of the 4 metaspores, 3 of the metaspore cells will be going to degenerate, 1 only functional. These are the functional metaspore. It's called as FMC cell. That is called as functional metaspore cell. Functional metaspore mother cell. So now these are the functional metaspore mother cell. This is can undergo as a mitotic division and form into 7 mitotic divisions and form into 7-celled 8 nucleated structures. That is only we call as a embryo sac. So this is the 7-celled 8 nucleated structure. 7-celled 8 nucleated structure we call as a embryo sac. Now this embryo sac is formed from the functional metaspore mother cell. So single functional metaspore mother cell can undergo as a mitotic divisions and form into the 7-celled eukaryotic structure. This is called as a embryo cell. They given as options: endosperm, embryo sac, embryo, and ovule. So these are the functional methods for mother cell. It was formed in a ovule, so ovule is not considered. And embryo is formed after the fertilization, means after the formation of zygote undergoing as a cell divisions and they can form into embryo, so we cannot call as an embryo. And it's a embryo sac. This is female ramified otherwise. And endosperm they given endosperm is a nuclear tissue. It's a product of double fertilization. So here endosperm is formed the product of double fertilization. It is helpful for the conversion of zygote into embryo. At the time of embryo development, endosperm is formed. So endosperm is not considered. It is called as a functional methods for mother cell can develop and can give rise to embryo sac only. The next question: a dioecious flowering plant prevents both. A dioecious flowering plants prevents both. You want to know what dioecious means? Dioecious says as male and female reproductive parts or male and female flowers are present in a different plants. You can consider this is the A plant and this is the B plant. So this is the male and this is the female. Such type of the arrangement of the male and female flowers in different plants or sexes are separate. We call as a dioecious. So dioecious flowering plants prevents both. So they given as option autogamy. Autogamy says as a self-pollination. So autogamy means transfer of pollen grains from anther into a stigma of a same flower of same plant. It's called as autogamy. But here autogamy will never takes place in a dioecious plants, because in these are the dioecious plant the flowers are unisexual male and unisexual female. So that's why autogamy always prevents. And Geitonogamy, it's a transfer of pollen grain from anther into a stigma of a different flower of a same plant. Here flowers are present in different plants. Geitonogamy says as a transfer of pollen grain from anther into a stigma of a flower of a different flowers. Those are the flowers are present in a same plant. Here the flowers are not present in a same plant. So dioecious plants are always exhibit xenodemy. That's called as a cross pollination. So they can prevent the autogamy as a self pollination. They can prevent the geitonogamy also the self pollination. Geitonogamy also we call as a self pollination. So and see the option B, geitonogamy and xenogamy. Xenogamy will encourage, geitonogamy will prevent. Cleistogamy and xenogamy. Cleistogamy will not exclude, means cleistogamy says as a closed flowers. Flowers are always present as closed, means they can perform into the autogamy. And xenogamy can take place. Autogamy and xenogamy. Autogamy they can prevent, but xenogamy they can encourage. The question was asked as they should be prevent both of. Option A, autogamy will be prevented by the dioecious plants, and geitonogamy also will be going to prevent the dioecious plants. So out of the given options, option A, autogamy and geitonogamy both will be going to prevented by the presence of dioecious plants. Answer A.
Next question. Pollination in water hyacinth and water lily brought about by the agency of. See here, pollination of water hyacinth and water lily brought about the agency of. So these are the water hyacinth and water lily. Flowers are their presence on the surface of water. Water hyacinth and water lily. So if the water hyacinth and water lily flowers and plants are their presence on the surface of water, means this is the water and this is the surface. So that pollination can take place. Pollination can take place in a water hyacinth and water lily through the options are given as a water, insects and wind, birds and bats. See now, bats are not involved into the pollination of water lily and water hyacinth, and birds also not involved into the water, not involved into the pollination of water lily and water hyacinth. And remaining azure, water hyacinth and water lily, those are the hydrophytic plants. So all of the hydrophytic plants, in these hydrophytic plants, water can not act as a pollinating agent. So some of the hydrophytic plants such as the water lily and water hyacinth, for this type of the plants, water not act as a pollinating agent. So instead of the water, either insects or wind can act as a pollinating agent. So that is the exemption for these hydrophytic plants or hydrophytes can perform the pollination through the insects or wind, as example water lily and water hyacinth, because here plants are there present in your water but flowers are not present in your water. If the flowers are there present in the water, they can release the pollen grains into the water. They can reach the pollen grains into the female flowers through the water. But here, flowers are present on the surface of the water, and these are the flowers. And also, water lily and water hyacinth flowers are they're present in the form of petals are present in the form of different color. So, if the flowers are having a different color, means they can attract the insects. So automatically either the insects or wind, mostly insect pollination will take place, and sometimes wind pollination will take place. So that's in a water hyacinth and water lily. So answer is B. And the next question, which of the following statement is not true? Option A, pollen grain of many species cause several allergies. Yes, pollen grains of the many species are that can cause several allergy. Example, it is we are seen as a carrot grass. Some of the different types of the respiratory disease will be done occur by the different types of the pollen grains. And stored pollen in liquid nitrogen can be used the crop breeding programs. Yes, storing of the pollen grains under the minus 196 degrees temperature, that is at the time of storage of these pollen grains under the minus 196 degrees temperature, we can use as a liquid nitrogen. That process we call as a cryopreservation. We are also called as a pollen banks. So stored pollen in liquid nitrogen can be in the crop breeding programs. We can use as these pollen grains for the crop breeding program. We can store under the minus 196 degrees temperature by the using of liquid nitrogen. It's called as cryopreservation. Option B also is a correct statement. And option C, tapetum helps in the dehiscence of anther. So you want to know clearly means of the tapetum. So you want to know clearly the means of the tapetum, where it was present. The word of the tapetum can belongs into the microsporangium, that's called as the anther. If you cut the transverse section of the anther, will be get into the a butterfly like structures, otherwise a subtler outline structures are will be seen. So that is the transverse section of anther. That transverse section of the anther, it's contained as a 4 layers. So those are the 4 layers. Out of the 4 layers, innermost layer of the anther, it's called as tapetum. Innermost layer of the anther, it's called as a tapetum. Tapetum can work as a tapetum function is this tapetum can form into the pollen kit formation, and also tapetum is involved into the giving a nutrients to development of pollen grains. So tapetum can act as a nutritive tissue for the development of pollen grains. So here the pollen grains will be done from this is the tapetum. So now tapetum is helps into the dehiscence of anther. So the dehiscence of anther, dehiscence means breakdown or rupturing of anther walls. So to releasing of the pollen grains, dehiscence of the anther will going to occur by the endothecium cells. Endothecium is involved into the dehiscence of anther. So not tapetum is not act as a dehiscence of anther. Tapetum is a nutritive tissue. It reduces a food material for the development of pollen grains. And Enzyme of the pollen ring is made up of sporopollenin. So in the first portion we are discussed enzyme of the pollen ring. It is made up of by sporopollenin. It is give a resistance into the different types of the alkaloids and pH and also the water. So out of the given four statements or four options, tapetum helps in the dehiscence of anther. This is the incorrect statement. So answer is C. The next question, seed formation without fertilization in flowering plants involves the process of. So formation of the seed without fertilization in a flowering plant, that is called as, options are given as somatic hybridization, apomixis, sporulation, budding. So these are the budding and the sporulation. Those are the process of asexual reproduction. They are not involved into the seed formation. They are not related into the seed and remain as a somatic hybridization and apomixis. So somatic hybridization, its hybridization process is takes place from the somatic cells. That is, we are seeing in a tissue culture. One of the application of the tissue culture, we will be going to produce the tomato, one of the new variety by the mixing of tomato and potato. So that is different and remain as a apomixis. Formation of the seed without fertilization, it's called as a apomixis. So answer it is D. The next question, the hilum is spore on the hilum is spore on the hilum we can represent it as a after the completion of fertilization. See now, structure of ovule, this is. So in these of the ovule, this is the funicle, and in this of the funicle can attach into the ovular body. Attachment of the funicle into the ovular body, or it is a junction of the funicle and the ovular body. It's called as a hilum. So after the fertilization, this entire ovule can act as a seed. So and the seed contains a small pore. That pore we call as a micropyle. And hilum represented as a is a junction between the funicle and the ovular body, that is called as a hilum. So now hilum, the hilum is a spore on these are the hilum after the completion of the fertilization can form into a small star, that is option A, fruit where style was present. Hilum can represent into the ovule, so it's not belongs into the fruit. And option B, they given as a seed where micropyle was present. See here, this is the hilum can belongs into a seed only. Example we have seen in the syllabus, they given as a sisal seed. So sisal seed, here the micropyle it was present, and here the small star will be going to represent it. So seed where micropyle was present. So that micropyle was not considering as a seed. Micropyle was not considering as a hilum. And option C, seed where funicle was attached on the surface of the seed. This entire structure can act as a seed. So there previously these of the funicle is attached into the hilum, means attached into the ovular body, that is represented as a hilum, means it is a small spore after the drying of the seed or after the dry of the fruit wall. So the connection of the funicle also will be going to dry, just instead of the funicle where it was attached to the ovular body, it was present in the form of a spore, that only we call as a hilum. And option D, they given as a fruit. So fruit A and D is not related into the seed, and B and C only related into a seed. So in the B option, they given as a micropyle. Micropyle is a small pore. It's not something as a that is a hilum. Hilum it is represented as a junction between the funicle and the ovular body. So answer is C only. That's next question. Perisperm differ from the endosperm. Here, endosperm it's a triploid and it is formed after fertilization. Perisperm it's a diploid tissue. So persistent nucellus tissue we call as a perisperm. So perisperm it was developed from the nucellus tissue. It is a diploid. Endosperm it's developed after the fertilization, means it's a product of double fertilization. It should be present in the form of triploid. So now perisperm differ from the endosperm in here option A being a diploid tissue. Option B, it's a formation by the fusion of secondary nucleus with several sperms, being haploid tissue having no residual food materials. Both of the perisperm and endosperm, they can store the food materials, but it was formed after the fertilization. It was present before the fertilization. Means before the fertilization, that nucellus tissue it was present. After the fertilization, also the nucellus tissue it was present. Persistent nucellus tissue we call as a perisperm. So perisperm is a diploid always. So option A being a diploid tissue. So answer is A. The next question, when a diploid female plant is crossed with a tetraploid male, the ploidy of endosperm cell in a resulting seed is. So here they are asking now a diploid female plant is a female plant and tetraploid male plant. So these both are their involvement into the pollination. So at the time of pollination, male and female organisms are reproductive parts that are undergoing as a meiotic division. Means male can undergoing as a meiosis and female can undergoing as a meiosis. Female can undergoing as a meiosis and form into a female gametophyte. So they can form into a haploid female gametophyte with a haploid head cell and diploid central cells. And males are tetraploid. By the process of meiosis they are becoming as a diploid male gametophyte, that is we call as a polar line. The polar lines are having two male gametes, each one having diploid male gamete and diploid male gamete. So now a tetraploid male the ploidy of the endosperm cell in the resulting seed. So in the seed the ploidy of endosperm it should be. So now endosperm is formed by the process of double fertilization. So these are the second male gamete or second male nucleus is fuses into the, it was present in diploid and it infuses into the diploid central cell of polar nuclei. So diploid and diploid both will be going to fuse together and they can form into a tetraploid. The ploidy of the endosperm should be tetraploid. The ploidy of the endosperm will be tetraploid. So because endosperm is a product of double fertilization. And the next question, anthesis is a phenomena which refers to. Anthesis, which phenomena it refers to? Anthesis is a process. It's called as option A, reception of pollen by stigma. Receiving of the pollen grains by stigma is called as a pollination. Formation of the pollen grains it's called as microsporogenesis. And the development of anther and opening of the flower. So anthesis of the flower is represented as a opening of the floral bud. The flower bud will be opening of the flower bud it's called as a anthesis, and development of the anther it's also called as a development of the anther. It is development of microsporangium development. So anthesis is a phenomena. It's referred as opening of the flower from the birth condition. So answer is D. The next question, development of organism from female gametophyte or egg without involving the fertilization. Means development of the new individuals from the female gamete or the egg without involvement of. Options are given as adventive embryony. So development of the embryo other than the egg cell. Development of the embryo other than egg or other than the zygote it's called as the adventive embryony. Polyembryony. Formation of many number of embryos it's called as a polyembryony. And parthenocarpy. Formation of the fruits without fertilization it's called as a parthenocarpic fruits. And parthenogenesis. Formation of new individuals without fertilization it's called as a parthenogenesis. Development of the organism from the female gamete without involvement of fertilization. Without involvement of the fertilization, female that new individuals are takes place. That's called as a parthenogenesis. Answer is D.